The Ottawa Senators are extremely pleased to select from the Boston U Terriers, Brady Tkachuk.
Derek Brassard drops, goal, in, score! 2-on-1, goes around.
Welcome to SENS Talk. My name is Brandon, and I'm your host. And before we get started, please follow us on Twitter at SENSTalk_ for live-time updates of the games and, of course, breaking news. As well, please check out our sponsor, SeatGeek.com, or download the app in the App Store and use the promo code SENSTalk to save $20 off your first purchase. A day after the Ottawa 67s took down the Oshawa Generals to go to the OHL Finals, we have a second-round NHL 2019 playoff preview show. So before that, a lot of people on Twitter were asking to see my bracket before the playoffs began. So here it is. As you can see, I had Tampa winning. They did not. I had my conference finals were completely busted except Carolina. I had Tampa, Carolina, Calgary, Nashville, and then Calgary, Tampa Bay in the finals. Tampa Bay winning. So originally preview my predictions were Tampa winning, Boston winning, Carolina, New York winning. So those were my only ones that were right. St. Louis winning was my only other one. Dallas, Nashville winning. Vegas winning, and Calgary. And so basically the only teams I got right were St. Louis, Carolina, and New York, and Boston. That is embarrassing, but there's one team remaining still in my bracket. Carolina, they have a shot to go to the conference finals, so there we go. Now, like in my last video, the preview show is as follows in the comment section below. I'm going to put down the timestamp so you can skip forward to your team of liking, see my preview for them. So let's get started with the San Jose Sharks after an incredible comeback versus the Vegas Golden Knights and the Colorado Avalanche. So let's get there right now. So this first second round series preview will feature the San Jose Sharks and the Colorado Avalanche, 96 Stanley Cup champions. But let's get into it first. Firstly, for the Colorado Avalanche to advance to the conference finals, it will be up to Nathan MacKinnon. He is a big factor in the series for the Colorado Avalanche. DJ Compher, as I touched in the first round series preview for the Avalanche, was a big factor for the depth scoring for the Avalanche, so they're going to need a lot of that to mask a team like San Jose with great scoring depth. But back to MacKinnon, Rantanen, Landeskog, that line is going to need to score and score and score, because obviously Colorado does not have great scoring depth. JT Compher, like I just said previously, had a good first round against Calgary. But the San Jose Sharks, line. All four lines are good to go to score. They have depth throughout the lineup, scoring on the blue line, on the, obviously, forwards. Heck, even Martin Jones probably can score. So the big factor for the Colorado Avalanche is they need MacKinnon to be MacKinnon, take over the series like he did against Calgary. They also need some depth to score, and if not, they're going to need that top line to really produce. That's obviously going to be tough, but a good luck, something positive in the position of the Colorado Avalanche would be Martin Jones. Which Martin Jones are we going to see? Are we going to see the Martin Jones where he lost 5-6 goals in that game against Vegas, giving up a goal in the first 20 seconds? Or are you going to see that Game 6 Martin Jones stopping 58 out of 59 for San Jose Sharks record in playoffs? So Martin Jones is really consistent. He can turn it on and be one of the best goalie in the NHL, or one of the best in the playoffs, and then he could be like a third-string goalie. There's no in between. So which Martin Jones are you going to see? That's really, that's in my opinion, the deciding factor. That and Erik Karlsson's health. We all know he's going through ankle injury and groin injury, but that comeback, 4 goals in that power play against Vegas, and of course the 5-4 overtime Game 7 win against Vegas, was really quarterbacked by Erik Karlsson's play on the blue line, assisting on 2 or 3 of those goals. So Karlsson's health is going to be a big factor. I think he's going to be okay. He's still a generational talent, as we all know. The Ottawa Senators used to have him right there. But really, it comes down to Martin Jones. Grubauer is going to play on top of his head like he needs to. The Avalanche are going to get the scoring on that top line like they're going to need to. But Martin Jones is going to be the deciding factor. I think even if Martin Jones doesn't play on the top of his head, if he plays mediocre, the Sharks' offensive abilities are going to take over the series. It's going to be too much for the Avalanche. Sharks in 6, and they're a legitimate Stanley Cup contender. Now let's get to the St. Louis Blues versus the Dallas Stars, another upset. So let's get to that right now. So the second preview is between the Dallas Stars and the St. Louis Blues. This matchup is really going to be a goalie duel. Ben Bishop, the Vezina Trophy candidate, versus Jordan Binnington, incredible, stellar season to bring the Blues to the playoffs, and probably will be a Calder Trophy nominee. So that's going to be the goalie duel. Bishop standing on top of his head. The Dallas Stars defense was not good against that Nashville Predators offense, and Ben Bishop bailed them out time after time. Advanced stats, they allowed 36 shots on goal per game in that first round series against the Preds. So the Dallas Stars first are going to need to clean up that defensive abilities, but Ben Bishop is going to keep the puck out of the net as much as he can. He is on top of his game, and as long as he stays healthy, will be one of the best goalies remaining in the playoffs. Now the Blues, we're going to talk about their scoring. We already know Perron and Tarasenko and O'Reilly are going to be really good, but another added bonus on top of their decent depth is Jaden Schwartz emerging as one of those playoff guys. Back-to-back game-winning goals in Game 5 and 6 against Winnipeg, a hat-trick in Game 6 to get the series win. He had a really good first round, and I don't see why he can't continue it. I see him as one of those playoff guys. That power play is going to be clicking, but the Stars are going to combat that with Tyler Sagan, Jamie Benn, and Alex Radulov. So really, the goalie's going to be even, or if not, one side a little bit unsided. Like it'll be either a little bit Binghamton, a little bit more Bishop. It'll be back and forth. The Stars and Blues scoring will be fighting. Special teams are going to be the factor here. Now, both special teams are very close at 82%, I believe, but the Blues power play is just a little bit better, and I think that might be the deciding factor. Tarasenko, he had only had 2 goals in that first round, both on the power play, so he's going to really need to step it up 5-on-5, because obviously the Blues are going to need to combat that Stars attack on 5-on-5, but the Blues' overall depth, the move on that power play, and in the 5-on-5 will help the project and move on to the conference finals, because the Stars, after that first line, Matt Zuccarello, really, it's not as good as the Blues, not as sexy, I guess, as the Blues' offensive capabilities. I think the Stars are a really good story. I can see this one going either way. This one I had to sit down and think for 10-15 minutes, deciding the decider, the winner in this series. I put it in 7 games, like I said previously. It was the Blues going to the conference finals. They're going to win this one in 7 games. Sorry about that. 7 games. Special teams are going to be a big factor. I think the Blues just have enough scoring depth to get it done. Now let's get to Columbus, the surprise team of the playoffs, and the Boston Bruins. So the first preview for the second round of the Eastern Conference is between the surprise team of the playoffs, the Columbus Blue Jackets, fresh off a sweep for the first ever series win against the Tampa Bay Lightning, against the Boston Bruins, a legit Stanley Cup contender. So let's get into this one. Firstly, Columbus has had a week of rest. They just swept the best team in the regular season in the Tampa Bay Lightning. So they had a week of rest. Their home ice crowd is not home ice advantage, but the home ice is going to be incredibly loud and ready to go. It's going to give that Columbus team lots of momentum. The score and, play and get the win, because they've never experienced second round hockey, and they're not going to be quiet about it. While the Bruins are coming off a couple of days of rest after a Game 7 victory over the Leafs once again, 3 out of the last 6 years that's happened. But the Bruins are going to have a big test to keep up with this Columbus Blue Jackets team in many factors, while the Blue Jackets the same way. It's going to be a very close series, and I think, I'll tell you what I think after. Firstly, Columbus. 5 for 10 on the power play against the top penalty kill in the league. That's nothing to slide over. That is a huge thing. 5 for 10, 50%. Duchesne 7 points on that series, 3 goals. So really, the Blue Jackets have so many weapons in that top 6 to score. Josh Anderson, Bjorkstrand, Panarin, Duchesne, Dzingel, Cam Atkinson, etc. So the top 6 for both teams is set. The Blue Jackets are ready to go, and Duchesne's playing out of his mind. The Bruins' defense has a tough test coming up against this top Columbus team in the playoffs. Columbus is firing on all cylinders. They have the momentum. The crowd's going to be in it. The goaltending, Bobrovsky's going to be really good, I assume. Werenski and Jones are going to be good. So that Bruins defense, this one's not going to be in 4 or 5 games. This is going to go 6 or 7 games. So that Bruins defense is going to really have a tough time. They're going to get tired, in my opinion, and it's going to wear out on them. In Game 6 and 7, you're going to start to see those effects of that wear and tear of back-to-back close series and not a lot of rest time in between. Well, the Blue Jackets are fresh after a week after sweeping the Tampa Bay Lightning. So the Bruins defense is going to really need to hold the fort. They have a great top 6, of course. They got McAvoy, Chera, Carlo, Grishlik, I can never say his name, but then Moore and Carlo, I don't know if I said his name, but they have a really good top 6 pairings, 3 pairings. So the Bruins have a really good defense, But with limited rest, are they going to be able to play and perform like they can against a really good offense like the Blue Jackets? We'll have to see. I think the limited rest is going to have a big effect on the Bruins in this series. As well, Columbus needs to keep pace with the Bruins' scoring depth. The top two lines, they're going to score for both teams. But the third and fourth line are really going to be a big factor for this team, like a lot of playoff series. The Bruins are known for their depth. Heinen, Krejci on the second line, they have some good depth. But the Blue Jackets, not as right home. There's not so many right home names on the depth. Texier had a decent round. But really, I think if I have to give favor to the Bruins for the depth-wise, but overall, I think with the limited rest the Bruins have gotten, and the week of rest that the Blue Jackets have gotten, and the scoring abilities both teams have, and the time, and the fact that the Bruins defense is going to get really tired, in my opinion, after Game 5. This game is going to go 6 or 7. I say Columbus is going to win this one and go to the conference finals in 7 games. I think Columbus, the CBJ, the Columbus Blue Jackets, are heading to the conference finals for the first time in franchise history. This one I can see going either way. I might be wrong, but I think the deciding factor for me is the fact that Bruins defense is going to get really tired and worn down after Game 6 or Game 5. So we'll have to see. But I think if that Bruins D does not play their top game, the Blue Jackets are going to capitalize in a gritty system John Tortorella runs. But we'll see. Now let's get to the final matchup between the New York Islanders and the Carolina Hurricanes. Two surprise teams for many. So the final preview for this video is between the Carolina Hurricanes, fresh off a 7-game victory over the Washington Capitals, defending Stanley Cup champion Washington Capitals in double overtime. McKinnon got the goal from Mr. Game 7, Justin Williams. I predicted Carolina in 7, so that's really one of my only predictions I got right on the bullseye, but we'll have to see if my full prediction could go, if they're going to go to the conference finals or not. Either way, so really, this matchup, it's going to come down to goaltending. Mrazek had an .899 save percentage in that first round, which is not acceptable. He had really good games, and he had some really bad games. So this is a really inconsistent goalie, kind of like a Martin Jones in a way, where I'm not comparing him to Martin Jones, but he either could be stellar or not so stellar. So really, out of those 7 games, 4 of them he was on top of his head. 2 or 3 of those he was not so good, allowing 6 goals in 2 games. So really, can Mrazek keep up with Robin Lehner? Both teams play a really strong defensive game. You know, Carolina gets a lot of scoring, of course, but the Islanders, really stingy defense because of Barry Trotz, a new coach for them, and the Islanders are going to need to keep up with that because it's going to be very razor thin. Scoring and razor thin chances to mess up. It's going to be razor thin. Every mistake could cost the team the series. So I think the Islanders, they're playing like a team. They're very tight. They're very close. I think the Islanders with the goaltending they're getting. I think the Islanders with the scoring they're getting from Eberle now. I think the Islanders, Boychuk's a big injury, but they have Hickey coming in, so that's good. Or Pelech, sorry. But the Islanders are just too strong of a defensive team to lose this series as well. Questions for Furlan and Sveshnikov with their health. The game is starting in a couple of days, so I don't know if they can be ready, Sveshnikov and Furlan. They didn't play Game 6 or 7. As we all know, Sveshnikov fought Ovechkin and got knocked out, unfortunately. But that's a big factor. So, the Islanders, they're scoring, they're stopping pucks, their goaltending is stopping everything in sight. Carolina's goaltending is shaky, their defense is good, but their offense is questionable right now with 2 main factors out. Islanders in 6. I want to see the Carolina Hurricanes go for more, but with Mrazek being a wild card, really, if he's going to be good or not, with Furlan and Sveshnikov not exactly at 100%, and the Islanders is playing like a non-stoppable force, sweeping the Pittsburgh Penguins. Islanders are going to face the Columbus Blue Jackets in the conference finals. That's my prediction. Let's wrap up this video. To wrap up this video, I have the conference finals as follows. San Jose facing the St. Louis Blues, and in the East, it's going to be Columbus Blue Jackets versus the New York Islanders. No one expected this. This is what it's going to be, in my opinion. So thank you for watching as well. Please hit that like button down there. Please follow us on Twitter at SENS_. For live time days of the games and, of course, breaking news, please like the video, share this video if you share cool stuff. Click the big red button down there and subscribe to us. Like the video, share the video wherever you share cool stuff. Please check out our website, SENStalkCentral.com. We update that every single day. And of course, please check out our sponsor, SeatGeek.com, or download the app in the App Store and use the promo code SENStalk, save $20 off our first purchase. Thank you for watching. Enjoy the second round, Game 1, in less than an hour. Boston, Columbus. Let's see what happens. Enjoy it. I'll see you soon for either the OHL or some other SENS news or third round preview. I'll see you very soon. Enjoy the second round. Let the puck drop for another crazy round of Stanley Cup playoff hockey. I'll see you then. Go Sens, go.